Well, hi everybody, it's Doug. As usual, I'm apologizing because work is intense. But it gave me an opportunity to talk about something that I've been meaning to talk about for a long, long time. Everybody reaches a point where they're picking the same lock or the same couple of locks and can't make any progress. And what I call this is picker's plateau. So what's going on here is that you've reached a point where either you're exhausted or you're just too intense on that lock, or you've forgotten some of the fundamentals and you're not using them. So I've got a whole bunch of tips for you on picker's plateau. And hopefully some of these things will help you guys out in the near future. So number one, when you're fighting with some locks and you're not getting anywhere, remember you didn't forget how to pick. You're just having trouble with that specific kind of lock. And my first tip is back it up. What I mean by that is go back to some of the easier locks that you know you already are good at. And some people say they go back to locks they used to be able to pick and they can't pick them anymore. Go to another one. Keep going, because something really important, you guys know that rush that you get when you hear the snap, when you hear that shackle pop. That rush gives your brain dopamine, and that dopamine is what you need to get your encouragement back. You need some successes. So step one, go back a little bit and work on some that you already know. Get that reward back into your system. The other thing that it does is it gives you a chance to work on some techniques that you might have either forgotten or never even realized that you could use with some of these locks. So basically I'm gonna start with attacking an old one that haven't picked in a long, long time, and then just started repicking recently just for that reward. The Abus 5540. So another one is what you see me doing now. Clamp it. Now, I was going to say just use a vise, but not everybody has access to a vise. So instead, the answer is clamp it, because I've found too many times that my index finger gets a little tired and my tensioning just isn't as exact as it's supposed to be. So as a result, I end up just picking in circles, never getting anywhere, because I just am not applying reasonable or consistent tension. Another one, back to fundamentals. Somebody said, I read this early on, they said when they're having trouble, they like to pretend they're the lock-picking lawyer. And they start talking themselves through like they're doing a video. They'll say, okay, nothing on 1, click on 2, click on 3, nothing on 4. And what that's actually doing is it's making you acknowledge each of the individual pins, because as you get more adept at picking, you tend to forget about the individual pins, and you just get into this habit of racing around looking for whichever one you're supposed to pick next. You don't really think about what you're doing, or even really remembering what you found up to that point in the lock. So back to fundamentals. The other thing is, remember that when you start thinking about each individual pin, you're reminding yourself to pay attention to how each one feels. It's sort of like that whole mindfulness craze that people talk about. Don't just get in there and poke around. Start thinking about each pin. Another one I suggest, change tools. And I mean that in a bunch of different ways. When I say change tools, I do mean, first of all, literally try changing to a different pick. I have found cases where changing from one pick to another brings a lock from a, 2-minute pick down to 30 seconds, all from going to a slightly different tool. Now, A variation on that is try going top of keyway instead of bottom, or vice versa, changing your tension tool. The other thing I often say along with that is change your technique or your angle of attack. And what I mean there, angle of attack, sometimes you're in there and you're hitting the pins and you're not getting anywhere. Just turning the pick a few degrees will have you hit the pins at a slightly different angle and give you much, much better results. Now, with that, also your angle to the lock itself. So this comes back to my first one, clamp it. Once a lock is in the clamp, you don't have to worry about it wandering off and you're hitting the pins at the wrong angles anymore. It holds it at a steady angle and basically gives you a chance to say, okay, now I'm going to come in here, now I'm going to come in there. I also say when you're talking about changing your attack, change your tension. And I mean that in two ways. First of all, of course, the obvious. Change your tension. You've been trying hard tension, firm tension, try something a little lighter. Actually, this also caused me to double back. When I talk about changing tools, sometimes when your tensioner is just too loose, it's not the right fit. Going one step up or down gives you a much tighter grip and better control over the plug. I have found cases where the tensioner was just a tiny bit off and I didn't get full control over the plug. Switching one size up or down gave me a much better grip, and I found that I could actually subtly release and go backwards as well as going forwards on the tension. So, talking about where is that one I wanted? There we go. Talking about changing your tension. Changing your tension, I don't necessarily just mean, okay, try it all with hard tension, try it all with light tension. I also mean during the pick, vary your tension. And that's really, really important because what's going to happen is that as the plug loosens up, you get yourself one good set. All of a sudden, you need a different amount of tension to keep things in order and to cause the remaining pins to set. This one, I really can't show you. I can't demonstrate, but I can tell you that I had a firmer tension to start and then lightened it up as I went. And most important final statement, set a timer. Now, what I mean by this is I've seen where, even myself, I will attack and attack and attack the same lock over and over again for an immense amount of time. And all I'm doing is getting tired, getting frustrated, and getting nowhere. So the answer is set a timer. I know Bosnian Bill usually uses about 10 minutes, or used to use 10 minutes in the old days, especially for his challenge locks. Pick a 10-minute timer. Try it out, and if you're not getting anywhere in that 10 minutes, change locks, walk away, give your hands a rest, whatever it takes, and then come back. But there you go. That is my long ramble on Picker's Plateau. Either way, obviously don't give up, but let's run them through again. Back it up. Number one, try other locks, easier locks, and get a few wins in there. Get some of that dopamine flowing through the brain. Clamp it. Steady your goal, your lock that you're working on, because sometimes it wanders off, and as you get tired, you just get worse, and your tension gets harder to control, and so on. Go back to fundamentals. Remember to focus on each individual pin and play the lock-picking lawyer. Here we are. I've got nothing on one. Click on two, and so on. Change your tools. Try a different pick. Try a different angle. Try a different tensioner. Try just switch top of keyway tensioners, but try one that's got a better grip on the core. Change your angle of attack. Attack the lock itself. Move to the left or right of the lock. Change the angle of your pick within the lock, and so on. In fact, here's another one I didn't even mention. Instead of levering off the bottom of the keyway, lever off your thumb. Try that. It gives you a slightly different angle. It's basically using your thumb as a fulcrum instead of levering off the bottom. And then finally, set a timer. Don't waste hours and hours and hours on the same lock just getting more frustrated. Give it 10 minutes, then walk away, come back for another session later, or switch to another lock and then come back later. There you are. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody is staying healthy and smart. Everybody have a great day. If you do have any comments, please do drop them into the comments below. Also, if you like the video, please do a like. That helps other people find the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe, because that's important so you find out my future videos. Thanks, everybody. Stay healthy, stay well, and have a good one.